Today we'll be learning the RIDE strategy to help us solve some word problems. So the first step of RIDE is to read the problem. Second step, identify the relevant information. The third step is to determine the operation and unit to get the answer. And the fourth step is to enter the correct numbers and calculate. So let's look at some word problems. Since our first step is to read the problem, let's do that first. Bill is buying blueberries to make pies for a bake sale. Each pie requires 38 blueberries. He needs to make 5 pies. How many blueberries will he need? So now that we've read the problem, we can move on to our next step, which is identify the relevant information. So when looking at word problems and when trying to identify important information, it's good to look at numbers listed in the problem. So let's read it again. Bill is buying blueberries to make pies for a bake sale. Each pie requires 38 blueberries. This sounds like important information we might need later. So let's circle 38 because each pie requires 38 blueberries. And we could write that down too. So we know that it takes 38 blueberries to make 1 pie. Let's keep reading to find more information. He needs to make 5 pies. So this tells us how many pies in total he will need to make. So now, our last part of the word problem is the question. How many blueberries will he need? And this will go into our third step, determine the operation and unit to get the answer. So this will help us determine what we need to do to figure out our total amount of blueberries needed to make 5 pies. So we know that we need to make 5 pies. And in each pie, there needs to be 38 blueberries. So we have 5 groups of 38. We could add up 38 plus 38 plus 38 plus 38 plus 38, but instead, to make it more efficient, we will use multiplication. This is because we have 5 groups of 38, and we need to figure out the total when added all together. So this leads us to our last step, enter the correct numbers and calculate. So since we have 5 groups and 38 blueberries per group, this is how we set up our multiplication problem. So now we do our math facts. 40, 15 plus 4 is 19. And this will get us our answer. Bill will need 190 blueberries to make 5 pies. Let's try another word problem. And remember, our first step is to read the problem. Stella changes oil in cars at a garage. In 1 hour, she can change the oil in 4 cars. She has 14 cars to work on today. How long will it take her to fix all of the cars? So now that we've read the problem, we can move on to our next step, which is identify the relevant information. So like we did before, let's circle important numbers that we think might help us later. Stella changes oil in cars in a garage. So in 1 hour, that seems important, she can change the oil in 4 cars. So we know that it takes Stella 1 hour to change 4 cars. Okay? Or we could put 4 cars per hour. So let's keep reading. She has 14 cars to work on today. 14 cars. how long will it take her to fix all of the cars? So let's write 14 cars to work on today. So this is our important information that we get to work with. And our question is, how long will it take her to fix all of the cars? So now that we have our information, let's move on to determine the operation and unit to get to the answer. So, in 1 hour, this is 1 hour, Stella can change 4 cars. She has to work on 14 cars today. That's a lot. How many hours will it take her to fix 14 cars? So we could group it up like this to figure out how many cars. So 4, 8, 12. So now we're at 13, 14 cars. So we could group it up like this and count each individual car, or we could use division. So division will get us our answer of how many hours it will take for her to fix all of the cars. So we know we have 14 cars to work on today. And we know it takes Stella 1 hour to fix 4 cars. So if we set up our division problem like this, we will get our answer of how long it will take her to fix 14 cars. So 4 goes into 14 3 times, like our grouping here. 1, 2, 3, which will get us 12. We have 2 left over, and I don't have anything to work with here, so we're going to have to add a decimal up here, bring that down to 20. 4 times what will get us 20, and that is 5. And now we have 0. So we have our answer. It will take Stella 3.5 or 3.5 hours to fix 14 cars. And that is how we use the RIDE strategy to help with word problems.